All right, so we're talking about adjective clauses. The first thing I think that's important to say is there's a difference between a clause and a phrase. A phrase is 2 or more words. A clause is also 2 or more words, but it has to include a subject and a verb. Today we're talking about adjective clauses. There's a couple of things to remember about adjective clauses. Adjective clauses function like adjectives. They define or describe a noun in the sentence. The thing that's different about a clause as opposed to a regular adjective, adjective clauses must, catch this, must come right after the noun they modify. And there's different kinds of nouns. So we use different kinds of relative pronouns when we're modifying a person, a place or thing, possession, modifying a noun of place, and modifying a noun of time. Let's take a look at a few. When you want to create an adjective clause modifying a person, there's 3 possibilities. Who, that, those are informal, or whom, which is formal. Here's a sentence. The physicist who lives in Chicago, that lives in Chicago, whom lives in Chicago, those are all possibilities, teaches at my university. Notice the adjective clause comes right before the noun, or right after the noun that it modifies, physicist. Let's jump down here. To modify a place or a thing, we use that or which. So we jump over here, let's look at an example. The building that or which I grew up in was formerly a private place. You'll notice again the adjective clause has a box around it, and it comes right after building. And it chops the independent clause in half. Don't be confused by this. And it's describing building. The building which I grew up in. The building that I grew up in. And then you'll notice you got to have a subject and verb for both clauses. The building is the subject, was is the verb, and the end is the object of the main clause. Inside the adjective clause, I is the subject, grew up in is a phrasal verb acting like a verb. All right, how about to show possession? You need to use the word whose. Do not confuse that with who is. This is W-H-O-S-E. It shows possession. I knew a girl whose father was rich. Again, you'll notice it's talking about, well, whose father? The girl's father. So it comes right after girl. And you'll see that father is the subject, was is the verb, rich is the object in the adjective clause. And then the independent clause is, I knew a girl. I is the subject, knew is the verb, girl is the object. That's for showing possession. Modifying a noun of place. Ooh, be careful. There's a lot of options. Where, in which, and then the sentence, and then in on the end. That, then the subject and verb, and then in the preposition on the end. Let's take a look at an example. The town, okay, we're going to modify this town, a place, where they live, in which they live, which they live in, that they live in, has many beautiful parks and squares. So you'll see that this comes, the adjective clause comes right after town, the noun of place. What I want you to notice is the only one where the preposition can come at the beginning in front of the relative pronoun is with which, in which, okay? Down here to modify a noun of time, here's an example. We use when, that, or in which. Those are the 3 options. I can't remember the year when we visited them, that we visited them, or in which we visited them. Again, notice here the only time we actually use a preposition is in front of which. There is no preposition with that. All right, thanks.